My mom laughed when she said it. Not a cruel laugh, but that knowing, almost pitying kind that makes your stomach twist. No wonder you're still single at 35. We were at a family dinner, and the words hung in the air like smoke. Everyone got quiet. My aunt looked down at her plate. My younger cousin shifted uncomfortably. I smiled. Actually, I've been married for 11 years. The confusion on her face was immediate. She blinked twice, mouth slightly open, trying to recalibrate everything she thought she knew about my life. And that's when I realized something that changed how I see these conversations forever. But before I explain what happened next, you need to understand why my mom said that in the first place. Because it reveals something deeper about how we've been conditioned to think about marriage, success, and what it means to live a complete life. Here's what my mom saw. I don't post couple photos on social media. I don't wear a wedding ring because I work with my hands and lost the original years ago. I go to family events alone because my partner travels for work. To her, I looked exactly like what society defines as a failure at 35. And she's not alone in thinking this way. Research shows that only about 60% of 35-year-old men are ever married today, down from 90% in 1980. The landscape has completely transformed, but our judgments haven't caught up. We're still operating on outdated programming. The interesting part? My mom's generation actually has good reason to be confused. Of women born in 1940, more than 90% were married by age 30, and 83% of men. That was their normal. Their entire social framework was built around that timeline. When my mom was my age, being unmarried at 35 genuinely was unusual. But here's where it gets fascinating. The pressure she feels to see me married, to have that visible proof of partnership, isn't really about me at all. Studies on social pressure reveal that people are heavily influenced by their peers, creating a real effect where individuals in social circles feel compelled toward marriage when they see others marrying. My mom wasn't worried about my happiness. She was worried about what her friends would think, about how she'd explain me. After I told her I was married, she asked why I never mentioned it. The truth made her even more uncomfortable, because it's nobody's business, because my relationship doesn't need public validation, because I refuse to perform my life for an audience. This is where people usually get defensive. They'll say it's natural for parents to want to know about their children's lives, to want them settled and happy. And that's fair. But there's a difference between caring about someone's well-being and needing specific proof that their life matches your template. My partner and I got married young by today's standards, at 24. The average age for first marriage in 2024 is about 30 years for men and 28 and a half for women. We did it quietly, just us and 2 witnesses. No big wedding, no registry, no announcement. We made that choice intentionally because we'd watched too many people get swept up in the performance of marriage rather than the reality of partnership. And here's something that challenges everything we think we know about marrying young. Recent research found that age at first marriage had weak to no influence on marital quality, with little support for the widely accepted idea that marrying in your early 20s produces lower quality marriages. The old warnings about marrying too young? They're based on data that no longer reflects how people approach relationships today.
What happened at that dinner table exposed something most of us carry around without examining it. We have this checklist in our heads. Education by 22, career by 25, married by 30, kids by 35. Miss any of those marks and suddenly you're behind, failing, somehow less than. But those timelines are completely arbitrary. They're artifacts of economic systems and social structures that don't even exist anymore. Current projections suggest that plausibly 1/3 of men and women who turn 45 in 2050 will not have married at all. We're witnessing a fundamental shift in how people structure their lives, yet we're still judging everyone by rules from generations ago. My mom eventually asked the question I'd been waiting for. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you'd judge how I did it, I said. Because I knew you'd be disappointed it wasn't the wedding you imagined. Because I knew that no matter what I did, if it didn't match your picture, it would somehow be wrong. She got quiet then, really quiet. And I could see her working through something, maybe recognizing herself in what I was saying. Maybe remembering times when her own choices were judged against someone else's expectations. The truth is, being married hasn't made my life magically complete. It hasn't solved problems or filled voids or made me a different person. My partner and I chose each other, yes, but we also choose each other every day in small, unglamorous ways. That's the part nobody photographs. That's the part that doesn't fit neatly into social media posts or family dinner conversations. Before I left that dinner, my mom pulled me aside. She apologized, which surprised me. Then she said something that really landed. I spent so much time worrying about whether you were doing it right, I never asked if you were happy. That's the real question, isn't it? Not are you married, but are you living a life that feels true to who you are? Not are you following the timeline, but are you building something meaningful? Marriage is increasingly seen not as a social necessity, but as a personal milestone that people want to reach on their own terms. And maybe that's exactly how it should be. Not a checkbox on somebody else's list, but a choice you make because it serves your life, your growth, your happiness. The pressure to conform will always be there. The judgments won't stop. But neither will the quiet satisfaction of knowing you're living authentically, whether that includes marriage at 24, 44, or never at all.